Looking at this week's chart from 1969, it's easy to see why the music from this era still endures today. There's not a bad song among them, and there's even 2 songs written by Paul McCartney towards the end of the video. So stick around to find out what they were and what my hidden gem from this week's full chart was at the end. Now let's get stuck into the top 10. First up, but number 10 this week is Lulu with Boom Banga Bang. On its way down the chart after hitting its peak at number 2 a few weeks back, this was the UK's entry into the Eurovision Song Contest this year, and for the first time in the competition, multiple songs were named the winner after 4 of them got 18 points each. Lulu shared the win with the songs from Spain, France and the Netherlands. This catchy little pop number though spent 6 weeks in the top 10 and 12 weeks in the top 40 in total. At number 9 is Marvin Gaye with I Heard It Through the Grapevine. This classic slinky soul song had previously been released by Gladys Knight and the Pips a couple of years before Marvin Gaye had a hit with it. It managed to reach number 1 in the UK 5 weeks ago and stayed there for 3 weeks. It spent an impressive 9 weeks in the top 10 and 14 weeks in the top 40. At number 8 is Noel Harrison with Windmills of Your Mind. This melancholic, slightly folky sounding track came from the soundtrack of the Thomas Crown Affair and subsequently won the Oscar for Best Original Song. It was sung by English actor Noel Harrison, who was the son of Rex Harrison. This was its peak position in the UK chart, and it spent 3 weeks in the top 10 and 14 weeks in the top 40.
Where the sun has never shone.
At number 7 is Bob and Earl with Harlem Shuffle. This R&B track was originally released by the American duo from LA in 1963, but didn't make much of an impact here. It wasn't until the song was reissued in 1969 that the pair had a hit on their hands. Most modern listeners will recognise the intro horns, which were sampled to great effect by House of Pain for their 1992 hit Jump Around. This was the song's peak position in the chart, and it had just 1 week in the top 10, but a better 12 weeks in the top 40.
Your mother's away, I see.
Oh, Mrs. M, she'll be back from Grand's any time, and look at the mess, and
Oh, Jenny, you're wasting time using washing powder on the floor. All those suds, you'd be forever mopping them up.
Well, what then?
A good bucket of flash. Do the job in half the time. You squeeze your mop almost dry, and off you go. You see? No suds to rinse away.
That's marvellous.
Oh, yes. Flash cleans quicker than you can say Jack Robinson. There you are, all clean in no time.
Yes, Mum. Mrs. M, you're a lifesaver.
Oh, no, it's Flash. Flash cleans floors fast and no messing.
At number 6 is Johnny Nash with Cupid.
Cupid.
This track by the American singer from Houston, Texas, is a reggae cover version of Sam Cooke's 1961 original, which had peaked at number 7 here in the UK. Nash's version, though, hit its peak 1 place higher than Cooke's, reaching number 6. It spent 2 weeks in the top 10 and 10 weeks in the top 40. At number 5 is Clodagh Rogers, sorry about that pronunciation if it's wrong, with Come Back and Shake Me.
Shake me, take me in your...
This upbeat pop song with a catchy chorus was written by American songwriter Kenny Young, who had co-written The Drifters' Under the Boardwalk in 1964. Northern Irish singer Rogers became a household name a year later when she represented the UK in the Eurovision Song Contest, receiving death threats from the IRA for being a so-called traitor. This track, though, was climbing up the chart this week and went on to peak at number 3 next week. It spent 6 weeks in the top 10 and 12 weeks in the top 40. At number 4 is The Who with Pinball Wizard. This track, written by Who guitarist Pete Townsend, came from the rock opera album Tommy from the same year. It's a dramatic rock stomper about a deaf, dumb and blind kid who plays pinball very well. This is the song's peak position in the chart, where it locked in for 3 consecutive weeks. It spent 6 weeks in the top 10 and 12 weeks in the top 40. At number 3 is Desmond Dekker and the Aces with The Israelites.
So that every mouth can be fed.
This is our second reggae track of this week's chart. It was written by Desmond Dekker and Leslie Kong for the group and was on its way down this week after hitting number 1 a couple of weeks ago.
Get up in the morning, slaving for bread.
It was there for just 1 week but spent 7 weeks in the top 10 and 13 weeks in the top 40. At number 2 is Mary Hopkin with Goodbye. This sweet little melodic track from the Welsh singer was written by none other than Paul McCartney, though is credited to Lennon and McCartney. Paul also performed the majority of the music on the recording, including bass guitar, an acoustic guitar introduction and solo, along with lap-slapping percussion and drums. What a talented young man. He'll be back in a moment actually, so stick around to see what was number 1. The song peaked here at number 2, where it spent 3 non-consecutive weeks. It had 7 weeks in the top 10 and 14 weeks in the top 40.
Golden Wonder Peanuts! Golden Wonder Peanuts. Jungle Fresh.
And at number 1 this week is the Beatles with Get Back. And yes, the pop wonder boy McCartney is back with his 3 musical mates to occupy the number 1 slot, keeping his Mary Hopkin penned song from hitting the top spot itself. Paired with the Lennon-written song Don't Let Me Down, this track featuring Billy Preston on keyboards was an up-tempo rocker and the first single released off the Let It Be album, I think. Beatles releases are genuinely quite difficult to keep track of in general. And it hit the top of the chart in every territory it was sold. It spent a whopping 6 weeks at number 1 here in the UK and enjoyed 9 weeks in the top 10 and 15 weeks in the top 40 in total. And the song at number 1 in America this week was Aquarius Let the Sunshine In by the Fifth Dimension. This fun medley of a single from the Los Angeles mixed-sex 5-piece group was written for the 1967 musical Hair. It also spent a massive 6 weeks at the top of the Billboard 100 before being knocked off by the Beatles' Get Back, which secured 5 weeks at number 1 in the US. And my hidden gem from the rest of this week's top 50 is Where Do You Go To My Lovely by Peter Sardstedt. There was plenty to choose from this week for this regular section of my Jukebox Time Machine videos, but I plumped for this cheeky little number that I would have sworn was probably a cover of a French song, but it wasn't, apparently. It was written by singer-songwriter Peter Sardstedt as a faux European waltz tune, and it works to great effect. The song is littered with pop culture and other references, which I always love, from the Rolling Stones to Picasso to the topless swimsuit.
To my lovely, when you're alone in your
I also have a soft spot for it due to the Flight of the Conchords doing a hilarious kind of homage to it in their 2007 TV show.
She was comparable to Cleopatra.
Quite old.
She was like Shakespeare's Juliet.
Or 13.
We find the track at number 34 here, but it had peaked at number 1 9 weeks ago, where it had an impressive 4-week run at the top of the UK chart.
The painting you stole from Picasso.
It spent 13 weeks in the top 40 in total.
On and on, yes it does.
And that's it for this week's chart. Did any of these tracks bring back memories? And what would you have chosen as your hidden gem? I'll leave a link to the chart in the description so you can peruse for yourself.
Design topless swimsuit.
But until next time, Pop Time Travellers, take care of yourselves and peace.
And on your legs. And when the snow...
Her face without a trace of makeup proves it. A girl's most important cosmetic is her shampoo, her Sunsilk. There's one for normal hair, one for dry hair, one for greasy hair. Now a new egg shampoo to nourish your hair. Sunny, silky, Sunsilk hair. Know your hair and know your Sunsilk. It's part of the art of being beautiful.